One of the things I think is a great exercise is to put together a spreadsheet with projections, what you think, and break it down into all kinds of, what my expenses are, my fixed expenses, my recurring, my income, different, whatever makes sense for your business, your agency, and then do your accounting and match up your actual to your projections. Is such a cool thing to see the fantasy you had as opposed to the reality that you had. And then the more you do that, the closer those things align. And all of a sudden your projections, I used to have to do that all the time as a corporate IT guy. You'd have your projections on your expenses, and then you had your actual. And it was a really good exercise. Especially, it's great to do the actual and do the accounting side, but it's cool to do the projection, because that's you thinking what your business should be doing, where it should be making revenue, where it should be spending, and that sort of thing. So that's a tool. That's something I recommend, especially for e-commerce businesses. I guess for every business, but I know I dealt with a ton of e-commerce businesses early, and there were like never any thought as to those sorts of things. It's just, we sell this and we want to sell more of it. What are your margins? What's your cost per sale? What's your, is that a lifetime? And I still have these conversations with people all the time. Is that a one-time or a lifetime? What's the lifetime value of a client? Are we looking at this new lead as we have to make money this time, or are we going to sell to them 10 times? Then that changes the way you view the client. So to me, those numbers are not only, well, they're not always fun. I was going to say they're fun. They're not always fun, but they can be fun to dive into.
They can be fun. Usually it's like 3 months in, once you start seeing the data, because that first month is tough to get all that stuff organized. And we implemented the tracking sheet from Seven Figure Agency, and that's eye-opening. To track churn, projected growth, actual growth. I live and die on that sheet. That's probably my top 3 places I'm in daily. That sheet, my master client list, and then QuickBooks, or like a P&L. So I live in that thing, trying to move the needle on our overall retention rate, because I know that every % that goes up, the bottom line is tremendously impacted. So yeah, I agree with you. I like the projection stuff. Little too nerdy for me, so I have to have stuff like that built. But I like looking at the data and interpreting it. Do you guys, Dustin, Nick, do you guys use anything like that?
I have a tracker that I track our revenue. We use FreshBooks. I have an account that uses QuickBooks. We do that, but I also look at our expenses in a Google sheet that breaks out everything kind of per month, per year. We track, kind of team costs versus revenue, what percentage that is, along with all of our clients and the recurring amounts, which I update each month as I do invoicing. But I don't, the Seven Figure Agency tracker, I have not gotten to that one yet. And mainly because it's like another spreadsheet to manage. I definitely intend to do it, but it's just been a little tough to be consistent with that. But I think it'd be good. Also, I like your idea. When you were saying, I was thinking of like the loudest clients, like have some kind of like a noise level like thing for clients would be pretty interesting. It's like, wow,
be like a little needle.
Like that, exactly.
Once they hit that,
redlining.
Boom. Well, and then have that Dear John letter where it's you, it's not me. It's like, you're an awful client, and this is why we're done working with you. Honesty is the best policy. I always tell everybody when we start working with them, like, what you're going to get is honest responses from us. If we think the software you're using and the website you're using is trash, we'll be very open and honest about, this is trash. You probably won't like the results. We can run traffic to it. You could spend thousands of dollars banging your head against the wall, or you could use stuff that's going to work. You can only try to get them to move in the right direction so much until you're just like, you know what, whatever, do it. Or we've stopped working with a couple of clients because they refuse to change their software, but then they want to go into their own forums and their own Facebook groups and talk about how we're not hitting the numbers we're supposed to be hitting. And that automatically gets back to us. Everything that happens gets back to just remember, if you're posting stuff on social media and you think it's in a private group, it gets back to the person you're talking about. And if you're okay with that, cool. But when the rubber hits the road, we've pulled clients from that and said, hey, we're not going to work with you. We understand that you have this delusions of grandeur of what you think we can and can't do. Again, the entire team appreciates you that much more when you get rid of a client that does that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to mention, since we're talking about Google Ads and some of the expenses, I mean, a couple of the areas, like if you're running ads accounts or you're like a business or an agency, I mean, some areas you could look at would be obviously device bids. Like we're just going to get into the weeds for just a second. I look at your devices, look at maybe geos, depending how big of a market you're running ads in, keyword themes. So it may not be an individual keyword, it might be a group of keywords or search terms that those keywords are showing for, and look for any that are not performing very well. These are all things that we'll typically look at. Sometimes depending on the market, age, demographic kind of information, household income. A lot of this depends on the type of ads you're running, how big of a campaign it is, how much traffic you get around it. But I mean, these are all pretty easy areas to take a look at where you can make some adjustments and hopefully find some ways to spend that you can reallocate or just save, you know, whatever the opportunity is. I'm trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head. I mean, obviously landing pages and things like that are important as well, but I'm just talking about inside of Google. If you're just looking at that aspect of it, I think those are good areas to start with. You'll probably find some themes that you didn't realize you were paying a little bit more of a premium for. So
yeah,
it'll help somebody.